All right, welcome back to another episode of Adventures in Old Code. Today we're going to continue looking at LASR2, the sequel to Laser Game, and hopefully finish today and see if we can beat it. We'll see what happens. So last time we ended up finishing right after we dealt with all the key presses. So in the case that you press right, left, up, down, or fire, and we were done that. So the funny thing is that we discovered was that we were actually using the color as some sort of a health indicator. That's pretty fantastic. And this mysterious shots, which started out at 3 at the beginning of the level, and seems to be reduced by 1 every time you make a shot. All right, let's continue. So we have this des. Now des, this is the first time we've seen it. I think it's not, well, let's search here, find des. Okay, so at the beginning of the level, des is 0. And then after we hit a button, doesn't matter which button, oh no, hold on. We're not waiting for a key press. We're just seeing if a key was pressed. So every time through the loop, we are going to increase des by 0.5. Okay? And des is by default a single, which means it's got a few decimal places. So indeed, we can add 0.5 to it. Okay, now for each Zalcunian, here we go. If count A equals 1. So you recall from last time that count A was started off at 1, and then if we killed the Zalcunian, if color of A is 0, then count A equals 0. So it's 1 until he's dead, and then it's 0. That's what count is. So here we're going through, for each Zalcunian, if they're alive, then do a whole bunch of stuff, and at the end of it, oh, I see. So if they're alive, then if des divided by fac A equals int des divided by fac A. Let's just leave that for now. So if this thing is true, and we'll come back to it, hopefully I'll understand what it means in a few moments here. Then draw the circle in black, so erase the Zalcunian. Update his position with his xfac and yfac, which was calculated above randomly. Here, right here. Remember, it was between -4 and 4, but it wasn't 0. So we're going to add those two values to his position, essentially moving him. Rad equals rad plus radfac. So that's the size he's going to be growing. And that was a random number between... oh yeah, that was the funny one, where I thought I might want 0.6 to 1.5, but in reality it's 1 all the time. Well, not all the time. We discovered it was 9/10 of the time. Why am I trying to type that? I apologize. It's 1 9 out of 10 times, and the other 1 out of 10 times it's 2. So that seems to be the factor by which the radius increases. So essentially how fast they're moving towards our ship. Because it's the Zalcunians who are moving, not the ship, apparently. I have no accelerate or decelerate buttons. I just go left and right and up and down, and the Zalcunians just come to me. And they always stay within my frame of reference, my field of vision. Okay, anyway, so we update the position, we update the radius. If his x coordinate is greater than 640, then make it 0, so wrap it around the screen. If he goes off to the left, put him back to the right, similarly up and down, and then draw him in his color, and then end if. So basically, we loop through all the Zalcunians and update their position, but only if des divided by fac a equals int des divided by fac a. What the heck? So, clearly I was trying to accomplish something here. So, let's pretend this is the first time through the loop. Des is 0.5. Fac a was a random number between 1 and 11 for each Zalcunian. Okay, so if fac a was 2, let's say it was 2, then the first time through the loop, 0.5 divided by 2 is 0.25. That is not equal. So basically it has to be, this has to be an integer value. It can't have any decimals. So the first time through the loop, it's 0.5 divided by 2. No, so it's not going to update the position. The next time, des becomes 1. 1 divided by 2. Nope, that's not an integer either, so it doesn't get updated. The next time, it's 1.5 divided by 2. Nope, then 2 divided by 2. And 2 divided by 2 is definitely equal to the integer of 2 divided by 2. So, fac a being 2 means every fourth time through the loop, this Zalcunian will get his position and radius updated. Now, that is if fac a was 2. We've got it going from, I'm going to put this into a comment, 1 up to 11. A random number between 1 and 10 plus 10. So if it's 1, every second time through the loop he'll get updated. If it's 2, every fourth time. If it's 3, every sixth time, and so on and so forth. So if you are 11, then every 22 times through the loop you're going to get updated. So this is the speed at which they're zooming in at you, their factor. Okay, that makes sense, but only do that for those who are alive. No sense in calculating all that if they're dead. Awesome. Then what do we do? What does this do? Let's copy this and let's open up a new file and do this. What does this do? Beautiful. That is a crosshairs. That's kind of nice crosshairs. I'm not sure what those little lines are at the end, but they're kind of cool. So yeah, a bunch of line statements with a P set right in the middle of the screen. And it's all color 15. So this would have just been me hacking around. The crosshair doesn't move. It's always on the exact same position throughout the entire game. So it doesn't move, it doesn't change, but every time through the loop I'm printing it, drawing it. And why am I doing that? Well, if a red Zalcunian went through its path, we'd want to redraw it. Okay, so that draws the crosshairs. Done equals Y. Huh? Oh, interesting. Done equals Y. I'm still in my loop, my game loop. Okay, for whatever reason, done is equal to Y. And then for each Zalcunian, if they're alive, remember this signifies them being alive, this count variable, then done equals no. Okay, so there's only one done variable, but I'm going to be updating it for each Zalcunian. What this means is, if any Zalcunian is alive, done will get set to N. That's what happens. And then another check, if the radius is greater than 410, then ending 1. Okay, so there's a limit to the radius of the Zalcunians. And I'm guessing this is, ouch, you let the Zalcunian get too close. He ate you. That means you die. We didn't actually see that in gameplay. We'll try to. So that is the abstract random limit I chose at 410. Then time 2 is 60 minus timer minus time. Timer minus time would be the, well, time is the time you started at. We set that way up here somewhere. Time here. Here we go. Time is the start time. And then we are going timer minus time. That's just the elapsed number of seconds since the level started. And we're subtracting that from 60 to make time 2 the amount of seconds you have left. And we locate that and print that. Okay, and we loop until time 2 is less than 0, until you run out of time, or you're done. And you are done only when all the Zalcunians, if this is never true, which means all the Zalcunians in the level are dead. And so done is Y. Okay. Now we're out of the loop. If time 2 is less than 0, then go to ending 2. Ending 2, you ran out of time. You and your dang coffee. All right. And then the good end. So I don't want to, let's save the good end. I have no idea what's in it, so we'll just assume it's awesome and let's try and beat the game. So I've got to do this 15 times. 15 times. Should I try and do it normally? Or should I? Why not? We'll give it a shot. We'll see. So this is level 1. It's kind of handy that they stop when you shoot. Otherwise, you'd have to adjust your position. Okay, this is level 4. The reason I want to play this without hacking it first is because it might actually get hard. So you can see some of the Zalcunians do move faster than others. Oh, I get a chance for killing 2 here. And you can tell when I kill 2, it goes a lot slower. So in order to fix this pause, this lag, instead of doing nothing in that empty for loop between drawing the lasers and erasing them, I'd have to be able to update all the Zalcunians rather than do nothing in that for loop. Update the Zalcunian positions. which might be something that we want to try. Oh man, how many do I have on here? 3, 6, 9. Okay, you know what? For demonstration purposes, let's cut out of this. Let us change the number of Zalcunians we have to kill. So, where do we set that? Loop until circ equals 50. Okay, let's just loop until it's equal to 5. Okay, here we go. 5 levels. Oh, I should have made it less boring. You know, it would have been a lot nicer if they stayed moving while you shot. Okay, this is going to be the last level. Oh, I get to kill 2 at once. That's awesome. Here we go, it's going to be done. All right, they're dead. They're all dead. You are our hero. All right, get out of here. You'll get paid on Monday. Okay, we'll get paid on Monday. That was not a good ending. I think there's a real lack of creativity in the endings because I wrote this all in one sitting without ever getting up. All right, one thing I do want to do, I think we got a bit of time. I want to allow them to go ahead. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the firing away from fire. I want to try and get the lasers shooting while the Zalcunians are still moving. I've never actually modified any of this code in Adventures in Old Code before. Not to any significant degree, but I'd like to try. So this is the culprit here. So this time, what we're going to do is okay, first thing that pops into my head, what we need is a countdown, a thing that says, show the lasers for this many seconds, or I should be showing the lasers. So we're going to make a global variable called show lasers, and we're going to hack it. I mean, okay, I'll put a disclaimer. The following is not the proper way to do things. And now back to reality. Okay, so we are going to make a laser timer. And it is going to be actually the timer. Let's say laser counter. Let's say laser counter. And it's going to, yeah, I can't. Okay, so the laser counter, every time we hit the fire button, we're going to say laser counter equals what? No, here's something better. Here's something better. Laser. Okay, we are going to go laser timer. Okay, So when we fire, now I could not draw this. This isn't necessary to kill the Zalcunians. In fact, if I just got rid of it, I could kill Zalcunians without drawing the laser. That's not a problem. So let's actually not draw this. We're just going to delete it. Okay, and we're going to say laser timer. You know what? And this, welcome to programming. You have an idea, you try it, and then, oh, no, I want to do something different. Okay. Laser, or LastFired. LastFired, and that's going to be an integer. Roll up my sleeves here because I'm getting into the dirty work. Okay, LastFired is an integer. When I fire, I'm going to say LastFired equals timer. This will set the time I last fired. Okay, so every time I fire, LastFired is going to get updated. Okay, now every time through the loop, I'm going to accept a key press. So at this point, space doesn't actually kill anything, but I can still kill Zalcunians. You see how that works? And this is what we're trying to see. I can fire and kill them, but I can move. They're moving all the time. That is what I'm trying to deal with, or recreate. So we don't have to draw the lasers in the fire and wait and then erase them, hogging all the CPU time. Now we have this LastFired thing. Now we are going to say if LastFired, if timer minus LastFired is less than 2, then draw my lasers. Okay, after you draw the lasers, and if I didn't LastFire, I should do this. Oops. Oh, it's just an else. Oops, I don't need then. Okay. We will copy all this, except make it all black. Okay. Oops. Okay. So if we LastFired less than 2 seconds ago, draw the lasers on the screen. Otherwise, draw the lasers as black on the screen. That might be an issue, but we'll see. Okay, let's try it out. That's not working. Okay, something didn't work. I will try. Oh. Timer. Let's go back to timer. I want the timer function, the number of seconds. So it really is the number of seconds. Why isn't that working? Timer minus LastFired is less than 2. Then draw the lasers. Okay, let's not erase the lasers. See what happens. It's not working. Okay. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better. LastFired is fine. LastFired. Let's not call it an integer. Is that my issue? Ha, that's my issue. Okay. So why didn't it work when it was an integer? I have no idea. Timer minus time. Oh. The number of seconds. Wait a second. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Before we do anything, let's print timer and end. So the reason is, okay, timer, while it's the number of seconds that have elapsed since midnight, it is a decimal value. So when we were saying that it's an integer that we're storing this in, it's chopping off the decimals, and it's always timer minus time was never going to be less than, just for a fraction of a second it would be true. That doesn't sound right. Who cares? It's a single value. Okay, so now we can come back here. I may never again do live programming like this. Woohoo! Let me know in the comments if you actually find me hacking around like this interesting. That is really long. That is too long, but we did it. Okay, we'll say, well, now that we know it's decimal, let's do it for 0.4 seconds. That doesn't seem right either. One more time. Let's do it 0.1 seconds and just call it done. Now it's harder, because now they move when you shoot your lasers and everything is awesome. Okay, this has been a really satisfying ending to an adventure in old code. I hope you enjoyed this foray into LASR2. I hope you have an awesome day, and we'll see you next time for more adventures in old code.